I recently found this Paul Revere pot for $5 at the thrift store, making it one of the least expensive pieces of cookware in my collection. But surprisingly, it actually has some things in common with this Maviel pan, which is the most expensive pan in my collection that retails for about $260. And that's just the beginning. I've been cooking up a storm with this pot since I bought it, and I found a lot of things I like and one thing that I don't. Today I'm going to tell you all about this vintage Paul Revere pot and whether I think it's something that you should hunt down for your collection too. Hello and welcome to I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt, and yes, we are taking a look at another interesting piece of cookware this week. Now, if you watch this channel regularly, thank you. You know that I love hunting at thrift stores for various types of cookware. In fact, truth be told, the majority of my cookware collection is actually from thrift stores. I bought it secondhand, but well, I've never found a piece quite like this. So this is a Paul Revere pot from Revereware. And yes, its namesake is that famous American. The company actually traces its roots to 1801 when Paul started a copper rolling operation. Now, copper is an amazing conductor of heat, and some of the world's best cookware is made with it, like this Maviel pan that I did an entire video on. But you can't just cook on copper. You need the surface to be something different, like stainless steel. So back in the 1930s, the Revere Cookware Company did something really ahead of its time. It started cladding cookware. And all cladding means is when you take two different types of material, like copper and stainless steel, and put them together. This process is still used today and is really popular. Quality cookware such as All Clad, which kind of gets its name from that cladding process, does the same thing. But, well, these guys were doing it back in the 1930s. Now, Revereware is actually known for its copper that you can see, such as this vintage pot that I have, also a thrift store find. You can see the copper on the bottom and the stainless steel inside. Well, obviously, this pot isn't like that, but it does have copper in it. If you look very closely at the lip here, you can see the copper that is sandwiched between two layers of stainless steel. And now, copper isn't the only thing that it has in common with this really expensive Maviel pan. This actually also has a brass handle just like this Maviel. And it turns out, well, that might not be such a good idea when it comes to cookware, and I'll tell you why in just a bit. Now, to the best of my knowledge and from what little information I could find out there, it seems that this particular pot was made in the early 1980s for just a few years. Now, the parent company of Revereware had some tough times. They actually went bankrupt in 1982, and then they got sold to various companies through the years. Fun fact, one of those companies was actually Corning, maker of my beloved vintage Corningware. Now again, to the best of my knowledge, Revereware actually isn't made anymore at all. I believe it ceased production a few years ago, but if you know differently, please let me know. But what I do know for sure is, well, they're not making a pot like this anymore. You've got to buy these used, either at the thrift store or like an online site like eBay or Etsy. So is it worth it? Well, let me tell you, I've actually fallen in love with this pot. And funny enough, that actually happened even before I started cooking with it. I just really like the design. I think it still holds up. I think it's got such a nice contemporary design, and it's just beautiful with this nice shiny stainless steel and this beautiful brass handle and this lid with an accompanying brass handle. I think it just looks really, really nice, really elegant, yet kind of sturdy. And it also feels sturdy too. It's got a really nice weight to it. You just pick it up and you can tell that it's quality. This is back when Revereware was making their pots and pans in America. This is just really good stuff. And it was really easy to clean and, well, get looking nice and shiny again. I just used some Barkeeper's Friend on the outside and end, and even on this brass handle, and, well, look at this. It's nice and shiny. It looks beautiful. But let's talk about the way it cooks. And to test it, I used it on both gas and electric stoves. And well, it was a delightful surprise. In fact, it was a lot like this Maviel. And I say that because it's really quick to react. And that is a sign of really good cookware. When you lower the temperature, it immediately lowers the heat in the pan. When you crank it up, it immediately gets hotter faster. And that is a really good quality that comes with using that nice copper cladding. Now, as I said, I've been cooking quite a bit with this pot. I've made everything from porridge to rice to simmered potatoes to even pan-steamed yams. And everything has turned out really, really good, and it's cooked quicker than I anticipated. But there is one caveat to this pot, and it's the same negative trait that's also part of this Maviel. And that has to do with this brass handle and this brass lid top. They get screaming hot. As in, you just touch them and you might burn your hand, you might hurt your finger. I love the way this brass looks, but boy does it get really, really hot. So here's my verdict. I really enjoy this pot, and if you can find one, I think it's definitely worth seeking out. They don't cost that much on the secondhand market, and well, if you can score one for $5 like I did, I say buy it. But keep in mind that these handles get really, really hot. So you're going to want to use an oven mitt. You're going to want to use something to protect your hand if you buy one of these pots. But this is a little walk down history, maybe a little walk down memory lane for some of you with this Paul Revere pot. I feel privileged to give it a second life in my kitchen, and well, I hope you enjoyed me talking about it and well, kind of maybe introducing you to something you didn't know about. This was certainly new to me before I bought it. Okay, trivia time. Last week I asked you to identify this thing and several of you got it right. It is indeed a tea infuser for loose leaf teas. Thanatos mentioned that it could also be used as a bouquet garni, and yes, you could use it for that application. I bought this. This is an OXO, and what I like is that I never seen one like this in that you just twist this to open, you put the leaves in, and then you twist it to close. You don't have to fumble with it like those other ones. So yes, this is a tea infuser, but perhaps one like you've never seen before. For this week's trivia, who is going to be the first to identify this thing? We've got another thing that looks like it could be some medieval device. It's got these sharp edges here. Put your guess in the comments below and I will let you know the correct answer next week. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Until next time, happy cooking.